Oh, hey there. How you guys doing? On this submission to the Camp Kenan Army channel, I'd like to do something I call Story Time with Chuck. We'll begin our herpetology adventure with an awesome book that I got when I was a teenager. Their Blood Runs Cold. Yes, boys and girls, back in the day, pre-internet, you had to get books in order to learn stuff. This book I got from the Natural History Museum in Washington, D.C. We used to living in Virginia, traveling 3 or 4 hours. That would be a trip that we did in junior high school and high school. So this book is copyrighted in 1982 with a couple additional printings through 1985. I was a teenager in high school, and that's what I did. National Zoo, Natural History Museum. That's where I went. Wasn't the most popular thing to do, but I was a geek back then. I loved reptiles and amphibians. I always have. And this is an awesome book. I don't know if it's still sold anywhere. Whit Gibbons, forward by Eugene Odom. So I don't know who these folks are, if they're still around in the world of herpetology. But back in the early 80s, this book was awesome. And I read it on the bus home, and people were like, "Chuck, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm living vicariously through the adventures in this book." But how does this pertain to today's video? Well, we're going to go to page 45. And the first time I ever laid eyes on an alligator snapping turtle in any way, shape, or form was this book. Those two images right there. What a prehistoric living dinosaur. And I've been in love with this species ever since. And fast forward 30 plus years, I finally got the opportunity to get a couple, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. Stay tuned. I used the GoPro's zoom setting to see if we could see the tongue luring. I probably should use my cell phone. Sorry about the glass. Yep, there's that tongue. See that tongue moving? Ah, completely awesome. It is hard to believe. That little guy right there and his brother or sister over there that are all of about 15 grams, about 4.5 centimeters long, will someday reach well over 100 pounds and live to be over 100 years old. This is their little grow out enclosure that I have for them. It is just a 20 long standard aquarium, 30 inches long, shallow water about 3 inches, sandy bottom, driftwood. The pothos is in there for nutrient export. It'll help use fish waste and turtle waste as a fertilizer. I do have a Tetrafauna internal filter. It's the largest one that they make. It's kind of oversized, but I want to make sure the water quality is good. There's feeder guppies in here. There's a few mollies in here. But as you can see, I just fed the one some silver sides, thawed out silver side that you get to feed your predatory fish. Water temperature is warm, at least 80-81 degrees. I actually have a little float switch and some water to top it off for evaporation, so I don't have to pay attention to that too much. It'll do it automatically. I just change out that jug periodically. I'm using distilled water. The farm that these guys came from, the owner of the farm recommends neutral to acidic water, soft water, and the tap water here where I live is very alkaline and very hard, so I just go ahead and use distilled water. I do have a UVB bulb that's primarily for the plants, but I do believe the turtles can take advantage of UVB, even though they're nocturnal in nature and are typically not considered a basking species. They do spend a lot of time on the side of the enclosure, and this dome right here has a ceramic heat emitter. I want to make sure that the ambient air temperature stays nice and warm. No sense in having warm water and then they'll stick their heads out and breathe in cold air. I always want to try to guard against that. But what an awesome species. He's reaching up to give himself a little breath. See his little nose sticking out right there? So cool. I do have some pieces of the silver side that I left in there. If they don't eat that in a couple hours, I'll definitely take it out. Don't want to foul the water too bad. I do have water test kits, keep an eye on the chemistry, but also keep an eye on the fish. If the water gets really bad, the fish should be an indicator I need to do a major water change, which I do periodically anyway. But I'm not handling these guys, so I'm not going to take one out, but easily fit in the palm of my hand. And such an awesome species to work with. This aquarium that they're in probably only lasts about a year, if that, maybe 9 months, and then I'm going to have to go ahead and get something bigger, which I'm looking forward to. I want these guys to grow for me. One day, if don't know if we'll stay in Virginia when we retire or head down to Florida, but obviously I would need to get a permit, and I know that. Hopefully you're still allowed to keep them and bring them with you. If not, I'm not going to Florida, because by then I've had them for many, many years, and you know, gotta take care of your animals. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time introduction. I thought that was pretty neat. I've been in love with reptiles and amphibians my entire life, since I was 11, 12 years old when I first got my first ever green anole, and I had some red spotted newts. I've always had animals. Even when I was in the military, had some leopard geckos in the barracks. I was in the Air Force, so we had rooms, so it wasn't a bay area or anything like that. But just wanted to share that with you. I thought that was kind of a neat way of doing it. All of the books and literature and magazines that when I grew up, that's how we had to get our information. I know Kenan has a lot of experience with alligator snapping turtles and has done a whole lot with them, but I'm so stoked to have these guys, and I'll definitely share with you guys as much as I can as they get some size to them, as I take care of them, successes and problems and all that good stuff. So until next month, take it easy.